L. Jackson, what are you doing here? That might not make sense to any of you guys right now, but maybe by the end of the show it will. Welcome back to SJU on Fandom Entertainment. I'm Roxy Striar, alongside my adopted father, Joe Starr.
Hi, good morning.
I keep trying for it so I can be Rockstar.
Oh,
Still not.
You are. It's hard in this state to adopt a
28-year-old woman.
28-year-old woman.
They make that difficult.
It raises some red flags. You get investigated. It's
we can't
weird.
go on the planes anymore.
Yeah, a lot
I've
of cult
seen a
questions.
lot of 60-year-old guys who look like they adopted 28-year-olds in Los Angeles.
Not on
It's kinda
YouTube
easy
money,
to
baby.
make.
Not on YouTube
That's
money.
not just in LA. That's all over
Fair
the
enough.
place. Second time on the show, returning from AfterBuzz TV, it's Steph Sabraw.
Hey, Rox. So happy to be here again. Hey, dude.
Steph
So,
Starr
dude.
could work too. We could be adopted sisters. I don't know if
That might
works.
be even harder to have two. But
Once
They don't
I
let
think
that
we
happen.
could maybe one day.
A girl can
Steph
dream.
Starr.
A girl can dream. And the guy that agrees with me on everything on the planet is Dan Murrell.
Hello. Dan Starr sounds kind of nice.
Yeah.
I will also adopt you.
You
Yeah.
just have the best last name.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something
Let's do
about
this.
Dan Murrell though. Like you are the your name matches you perfectly.
Thank you very much. I
You're
appreciate
welcome
that.
very much. Actually, all of our names kind of match us.
Danathan Murrell.
There's no easy way to transition from that into what we're talking about today, so I'm just going to say that we
jump
are
in.
going into some amazing stuff. We've got franchises to talk about. We're going to review The Boys, which I know Joe and I are obsessed with. Also, Dan's favorite topic to talk about on the planet, MoviePass, because he's their #1 fan and supporter. And of course, it's Fan Friday, so we're going to get to some fan questions. But let's start with these reboots, because they're happening all over the place right now. Everybody's getting a reboot. You get a reboot. You get a reboot. That was my Oprah.
I
It was
loved
not
it.
very good.
That was good.
So I want to know from you guys what franchises you would like to save from the reboot culture. This was actually tweeted out via Get Fandom. We're very familiar with them. Love them a lot.
They
like
own
their
us.
work.
Yeah, I've heard-
I believe I like their work as well.
We're
Yes.
such fandom shills. We're on their payroll.
Definitely getting paid
No,
by
I mean, we are
fandom.
actually on their
It's the
payroll.
first time I've been called a shill where it is actually true.
Yeah,
I
you know
am
what?
a
Fair.
fandom shill. I'm
Completely
happy
fair.
about it. So when they tweeted this out, there was tons of responses about things that never should get reboots, including Back to the Future, Friends, Harry Potter, Pirates of the Caribbean. What do you guys think about those? Is there one of those that you disagree with, or do you think that none of those should ever be rebooted?
Pirates is the one I sort of took umbrage with. I think you can reboot. I think you can reboot Pirates
You can.
indefinitely.
I
I think
agree.
you can too.
Yeah.
What happens when you reboot Pirates, and why do you guys all feel strongly about a Pirates reboot?
Because it's a broad enough concept. I
Yeah.
don't think you have to you can just find another good actor to play a funny pirate.
Put him somewhere else in the ocean.
Yeah, there's a big ocean. I mean, I guess it would have to be
Lot of
somewhere in the
ships.
Caribbean at some point. But other than that, yeah.
Steph, any other ones on this list that you think we actually could reboot?
I don't like rebooting really anything unless for some reason technology would make it so much better, but I'm not against Pirates of the Caribbean getting rebooted. I never fell that much in love with it as the rest of the Disney fans did.
Okay. What about Friends? I know I'm the big Friends fan at the table, but would you guys ever watch a Friends reboot? Obviously, 90210 just came out with their reboot, so this kind of thing can happen.
What's the point? I guess I just feel like
Maybe to cast a non-white
they've made
person.
Friends like 50 times. They just call it something different.
Yeah,
than
every
Friends.
show about Friends is Friends
Yeah.
trying
Yeah.
to be.
So,
Yeah, they just do different things in them. Like one reboot of Friends was just about meeting the future mother of one of the Friends' children.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Yeah, Friends is one where
I hear you.
You could have called Seinfeld Friends.
Friends, yeah.
And it would work.
Nihilistic
about as
Friends.
Well. Yeah, Nihilistic Friends.
Friends Like Us. That was the real title, guys. I feel like Back to the Future is my one on this list that I feel like, A, we're going to get a reboot of because that's how the universe works. And B, I would be okay with it, depending on what we mean by reboot. Because there's reboot, like we do not acknowledge the previous ones existed. There's a reboot, like somebody else finds a device that was used in a previous film, like a car or a Ghostbuster thing. whatever what is the thing called?
Proton?
Proton pack.
A ghost backpack.
Yeah, proton thing. That's what I said, right? I pretty much
Right
nailed
there.
that one. Yep, that was right there. So there's that kind of reboot where you do acknowledge it, but we've just got new characters.
Right.
Or there's the kind where we bring back the entire cast and we just are way in the future. So I feel like Back to the Future, there's so many different ways to do it.
I got to disagree with you there, Roxy.
Shocked! Overwhelmingly surprised.
When you talk about a reboot, for me, the question that I look for, that I'm answering, is like, what can you improve on, or what can you add to it? I don't really think you can improve on what Back to the Future did already, because it's like the original as a classic, and then the sequels I think are both fun in their own ways. What can you add to it, to the existing mythology? Not much. I think they did well with the story. It had a good arc from beginning to end. So that's one where it's like Pirates. I think you can add a different fold to it and go into a different branch of the characters. Like Back to the Future, I don't see anything you can add to or improve on. So that's the one where I'm just like, that would just to me seem very cynical and just like, we have an IP and we want to.
Yeah.
You can add more.
I think it's weird to do period pieces like that. Like Stranger Things did it well, but I think going back in time, like make something new. The 90s, the early 2000s. It's weird.
We could do that.
With
the reboot.
I don't
With
know.
my reboot.
But I feel like they'd hit the same beats, just like in a
Yeah.
different era, though.
All right, guys.
Like
A
someone would
different
make.
skateboard.
Go ahead and yuck my yum. That's fine. Are there any other franchises that the fans didn't name, but that you guys would never want to see touched, Joe? Something that you feel precious about?
I don't feel precious about it, but I think we're done trying to reboot or retool Bond. I think it's now hit Friends territory where there are, I don't know, franchises that have sort of taken over wherever you could take Bond. Like if Bond just went back to being absurd and crazy, like the Fast and the Furious franchise is already there. If they tried to go like serious and gritty, Bourne went that route. It seems like Nolan is maybe gonna go that route with the spy movie. As soon as I said that sentence, I wasn't sure if I made it up or not. Christopher Nolan's making an espionage movie, right?
Who knows what kind of movies Christopher Nolan's making?
I don't.
I did make it up?
I don't
No,
think you
I
made
think
it
it's
up.
in that
There's-
genre.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
know exactly what it's about, but there is that one that he's been talking about. Honestly, you shouldn't have called yourself out though, because now people are gonna call you. You know, they're gonna come after you.
I'm
You
just
should've-
beating him to it.
It's got that proton thingy in it too. So
I mean, he put out a
Nolan.
trailer that was literally like, my movie is called Tenet and John David Washington is in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, that was literally like the gist of the entire trailer. So we don't really know what he's
There was a weird moment where I thought I completely made up Tenet.
No. You did not make
Okay.
it up.
No,
Everything's
it's there.
fine.
I just don't know what it's about.
Everything's fine.
Okay, everything's good.
You need
Tenet
coffee.
exists.
Yeah, it'll be fine in the world. Steph,
The
is there
Office
one?
doesn't have coffee.
Inception was its own kind of espionage movie, though. I will say.
Yep.
Interesting. Steph, which one for you? Anything that you don't want ever to see again?
Mainly The Godfather. I don't think that they should touch those films again. I just think it was so perfect. Everything about it was perfect. It would just shit on the name of The Godfather to redo it.
Yeah.
Okay. Dan?
I don't think you could do a sequel kind of thing either.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what it would be about. Like, in my day, organized crime had class. Like,
I feel like you'd have to
know, it's-
retcon some things, and there's a lot of people who refuse to acknowledge that one of the movies exists. So you would have to figure out what you were gonna do with that.
Yeah.
Which would be difficult.
Yeah.
Dan, you don't want to see that either.
No.
Yeah,
No,
okay.
I'm good with the Godfather that we have. Jaws. I don't want to see a CG shark. There's plenty of
We've
other
seen
CG
some.
There's plenty of other
Megatron.
Not
CG
good.
shark movies out there. I'm perfectly fine with them not calling themselves Jaws. They already ran the franchise into the ground once. It was sort of the prototype for running a franchise into the ground. One of the earliest ones that started out amazing and just went completely devolved into crap. And I don't want to see someone try to, use the John Williams music and
Ugh.
that classic as just a cheap way to make some
Yeah.
money. So, yeah.
I was looking at Steph's homework, and she has another good one.
Oh, Steph, what's on your homework?
Sandlot?
Sandlot.
You were cheating, Joe?
I was.
You were trying to copy your test?
Oh
I
my
was.
God.
Look,
but at least we agree.
Eyes on your own paper,
yeah.
Joe.
We're cheating. You're cheating, but you agree with me. The Sandlot, untouchable.
Yes, completely untouchable.
Don't
I think
ever-
they are rebooting it, maybe or maybe that's a Tenet thing I'm making up. I don't know.
I know. I think I.
No, I know what you're talking
vaguely-
about.
Yeah.
Something's happening
They're
with the Sandlot.
rebooting Home Alone. They're
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
That one I felt okay about, and then the further I think about it and talk about it,
Makes you feel a little dirty.
It's making me feel weird inside.
Yeah, it's inappropriate.
The ones that I care most about not getting reboots are indies, because I feel like that's where we're going to start to go with these beautiful stories that have been made before, that people just don't want to create original ideas. So they'll take something from 20 years ago and be like, that simple story could make that. Let's just do that one again. And like you said, Steph, the things that deserve to be remade are things that, because of technology and the times, we could actually make them look different than they originally looked, more realistic, bigger explosions, whatever it is that you're looking for there. So if it's just because you like the story, that's not a good reason to remake a movie.
Yeah, there's times when it's worked. The Thing
is
was a
one.
remake,
Yeah.
but then for everything like
That's
that,
true.
you have 100 like Point Break remakes.
Oh God.
Yeah, yeah.
Just let that sit.
And Carpenter had a real vision for the Thing, though, of just like I'm using this name, but I'm going this way with it, and did his own thing. The same with The Fly. David Cronenberg had a very specific vision for The Fly. It wasn't just, we're going to use the name and remake it. He's like, no, I want to do this with prosthetics. I want to do this with the concept and change it. And so, I mean, it's very tangentially related to the original film. Same with The Thing. So I think that's an example of taking something and improving, or when I say improving on it or adding to it, those are the kinds of reboots or remakes that I'm talking about.
In general, I do find that horror movies lend well to reboots, remakes. Do you guys feel the same way?
Yeah, I think so.
There's a lot of latitude. You
my
can take
God.
a high concept idea and then just apply a bunch of different stuff.
You guys just
Guys,
agreed on it
most-
there, kind of.
Most people on the whole panel disagreed with me.
Yeah, you know what, Roxy? You're right.
My God.
Oh, whoa. That means we have to move on from this topic immediately, guys. Thank you guys to you at home for agreeing with me, but more importantly, watching SJU here on Fandom Entertainment. Like, subscribe, and we have no Ryan here, but we do have adopted father Joe Starr. Hit that bell, baby. Wow, I gotta say, you're much better at it than Ryan is. I feel like he just lost his bell.
He's got a lot going on
He
at
does have a lot
once.
going
He's
on.
keeping an eye on the stream. He's muting people that say bad words in the chat. And then like
No.
the bell is far away from him. Like he's doing a lot.
All right, you know who else is doing a
And
lot?
he's like 14 years old.
That's also true. He looks younger than he is. Who's also doing a lot is us here at Fandom, because we have Fandom Uncovered, Dungeons and Dragons. It's out. Features a ton of different people from Critical Role, Joe Manganiello, and others, and it's got all different stuff for D&D fans. So you're gonna want to check that out. Watch, share, all the stuff with the bell again. I kind of just wanted to hear you say that. But let's move forward and talk a little bit about, again, my friend Dan Murrell's favorite topic. Woof. I'm ready for some morning action. MoviePass, because MoviePass has an update. Kind of thought that we would never have another MoviePass update again, but that's not
I
true.
don't understand how they're not dead.
Yep, nope, they're still...
kind of are.
No.
Yeah.
They kind of are.
This one was bad.
I don't know about that. This is via Business Insider. Basically, what MoviePass has done, in case you guys haven't heard, is that they have changed the passwords of a select amount of people that were deemed to be heavy users of the account in order to prevent those users from being able to log in and therefore use the app to go see their movies. What a tough thing to come back from. The MoviePass service has been on hiatus since early July with no announced return date. Dan, I'm throwing this one to you. A, do you believe that this is true? And B, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, well, I mean, this was a great article on Business Insider. If you haven't read it, read it. They talked to employees, former employees, a lot of them speaking on condition of anonymity because they signed NDAs. But yes, it sort of was inside MoviePass as it was just imploding over the last year. One of the revolutions, as you mentioned, was that right before Infinity War came out last April, Mitch Lowe, who was on in our other studio talking about MoviePass, Mitch Lowe essentially.
And now that studio doesn't exist anymore. Coincidence?
I think not.
That's how big it spread. It took out our other studio.
Yeah.
Mitch Lowe allegedly, according to these employees, ordered that a percentage of users' passwords be changed so that they could not access the app.
awesome.
Which is they interviewed somebody who works at the Department of Justice, like is not investigating them, but works at the Department of Justice, and it was funny because the quote was like, "That sounds like fraud." Yeah. But so it's like, okay. But it goes into a great amount of detail about how it was unsustainable. Everybody knew it was unsustainable. That it was a extremely toxic working environment. That they were very much more wrapped up in looking successful than being successful. Just the fact that the original founder of MoviePass was you sold it to Helios and Matheson, and they basically dropped the price. They told him temporarily, and then voted him off the board. So he had no involvement with the company whatsoever anymore. And essentially just how the company completely imploded from the inside out, went bankrupt. Last year, if you'll remember, right around the time Mission Impossible Fallout came out, the app just stopped working. And again, according to the employees that they spoke to, the reason why was that they were going through such financial difficulties that every day they installed what they would call a tripwire, which was that when there was a set dollar amount every day that they would allow to be spent, and once they hit what they called the tripwire, the app would just shut down, and you could not, and no one could buy tickets anymore. Of course, none of this was disclosed to anybody, which is kind of one of the reasons that there have been class action lawsuits filed that people are potentially investigating. But yes, it is a very interesting look into the inner workings of the company and Mitch Lowe and Ted Farnsworth, how it was run, why it was run the way that it was. Yeah, it has been shut down since July because they said they were improving the app, which meant that they had to completely shut it all down.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
which is an improvement,
right? Well, you know, like how on the App Store, like every time one of your Twitter app needs to be updated, they just shut Twitter down until they get done with the improvements.
Oh yes, Twitter has been shut down since July. That is true. It's going to come back stronger than ever. I believe it.
So it is a very intriguing look behind the scenes of a business that obviously not only crashed into a mountain, but like was in an airplane, walked up to the controls, kicked the pilot out of the plane, and steered it into the side of a mountain, and then exploded.
And then just started spilling toxic chemicals across the mountain.
And jettisoned the parachutes and told the passengers that everything was cool.
Yep.
It's pretty crazy. All that time when we were saying, how is this going to work? It didn't. It never was going to, and they knew that, but they wouldn't tell anyone.
Steph, thoughts?
Okay, I know you saw this documentary on HBO, The Inventor, on Elizabeth Holmes.
No.
Yes, you did. We covered it on TTS. Basically, she had this
I didn't see it.
whole invention, and it was fake. And it reminded me of the the Insider article, where everyone in the business was knowing that it was BS, but they just had to keep working for it, and they wanted to make
This
it
was
seem...
the medical invention, right? Where you took the one prick. So I never saw this, but you pricked your finger, and it was going into like CVS and Walgreens, and it would tell you like what you were dying of, essentially.
So that you wouldn't have to do like pounds of blood. All you would need is one prick, and she sold it to everyone, and everyone bought into it, all these major investors. But then once everyone got out of their NDAs, they all...
It was misdiagnosing people. Like, it was just making things up. Like,
But it's like,
you have this, and you have this, but no validity.
Nothing. These type of people, though, because in the article they also talked about how they worked with Jerry Media, who helped to organize Fire Festival.
Yes.
It's like, these people, who are they?
Good people.
They find each other.
Solid
They
people.
work together.
Oh yeah.
Well, there's a story in the article. It actually leads off with this at Coachella, basically saying that MoviePass had a massive presence at Coachella one year, and they were throwing events that were poorly attended, and that Ted Farnsworth angrily berated the staff for the poor attendance, and so they sent an email blast to all of their subscribers about a Big Boy concert, basically saying, like, if you show this email, you can get into the concert for free. And they're like, actually, you know what? If your friend's here, you can just screenshot this email and still get in for free. Just Did
it work?
Well, I mean, it was they like a lot of people showed up because it was free, and then they were like, "Look at our amazing concert series," and it's like, but it cost you $1 million. You're broke, and you literally had to give tickets away for free. It is a very fascinating look at just like how often a company can sometimes shape their image to appear successful when in reality they are hemorrhaging money.
Joe, were you surprised by this at all? Because there have been so many stories similar to this. Was this one just another, just one more thing, or was this a different kind of story?
Yeah, no, I think at this point, like, it would take a lot to shock me, like something from a behind the scenes of a MoviePass. I just think I don't know, the weird story arc of a bunch of people sitting in a building knowing that all this is happening. Not just day-to-day employees. Like, I get it. You got to get a job. But, like, people at the top who are just like, it's fine. It's all going to work out. We're good. We'll just keep moving forward. There will be no consequences to this. Like, we're good. Let's get to the other end of the rainbow and we're solid. Like, that mindset is so crazy to me. I would have had a panic attack after day one of being on like the board of a MoviePass type company.
Yeah.
Like
You're not fit to run Firefest. Jim.
no. No.
You're not going to do it. Dan, is there any, I really mean this question because you're going to laugh at first, but is there any saving this company? He's not laughing.
They would have to. They would have to radically alter everything about their business strategy.
StubHub buys them.
And even then, you have this sort of stink on you from these disastrous last year.
Mm-hmm.
You have brand name recognition, which is something. It's something, but I mean, you're basically back to square. They're basically back to square one at this point.
But kind of worse than square one because
because they have a very bad reputation.
Yeah,
and people
all
are going to
the
be like, well,
trust
I'm not
is
signing
lost.
back up for MoviePass because isn't that a scam? Or how do I know it's going to keep working? So I think that you could save it, but at the same time, they were what they wanted to be, which was a disruptor. Just that they weren't the ultimate disruptor. But the other thing is now they have competition. AMC, Regal, all of the chains are starting their own type of subscription service. So legitimately, that are sustainable, that are in many ways better, easier to use. So I could foresee the company surviving in some way, shape, or form, but not as the industry leader that they certainly wanted to be, and not at the level that they were when they were running a financially unsustainable business and literally an impossible deal for a year and a half. That was like. I mean, I said I took full advantage. They hated me. I cost them hundreds of dollars.
You were the tripwire.
Hundreds of dollars.
Me as well. I did too.
Mara and I tripped so many wires because we saw so many, because it was an amazing deal.
$10 a month.
Deal.
Yeah.
$10 a month for a movie a day. It was insane. I saw everything. I went and saw the Flatliners remake. You think I'd go see that with my own money? Hell no.
How was it?
Terrible. But when all you're investing is your time, okay, sure, why not?
Legally speaking, what do we think happens here? Do we think that this is going to be a bigger problem than even we've seen with the class action lawsuits thus far? Or do you guys think we've pretty much come to the end of that and we'll just see this kind of fade away?
I mean, it just depends on what... These sound like very deceptive business practices to me. I'm not a legal expert, but I guess it just depends on who decides to look into what. And, there's already been at least one lawsuit filed for, breach of contract and all that stuff from users. So, I think that the ramifications are still trickling down, but who knows? You never know. You never really know. If they go under completely, if they go bankrupt, then what's left to... What do you...
Yeah.
I think...
I
think it matters about the terms of agreement. Like, depending what they are, people could sue. But it makes me... If my password doesn't work on a different site, I'm going to think that they're doing some shady stuff. Now, it's totally messed up the way online businesses run for me.
Yeah, and I think on that, like, it'll probably end in a lot of fire and embarrassment. But, I feel like folks like that... they go through their weird scandal of their company shutting down, and you get a lot of behind the scenes of all the shady stuff they were doing, and then they're on the board of another startup pretty quickly, just quietly. So
this really isn't going to have any long-term effect on anybody, we think?
No, maybe the director of marketing.
Chloe is in big trouble.
Chloe's in big trouble.
Chloe, the director of marketing.
Chloe.
You know Chloe.
I don't think I know Chloe.
No.
There was, in the midst of MoviePass flailing, it's one of my favorite...
Wait, I must know this then.
It's one of my favorite flexes of all time. It was like when the cards had stopped working for a lot of people, and people were like, what's going on? MoviePass sent an email out to all of their subscribers with a picture of a dog. It's like, hi, I'm Chloe, the director of marketing for MoviePass. Like, you may have heard some weird stuff about what's going on, but don't worry, and it's just like,
I missed this.
wow.
Chloe's been a very bad dog.
Wow, Chloe. That is,
Wait.
it was just such a weird strategy of just like, our company's on fire, and they're like, hi, Chloe, aren't you cute? I'm the director of marketing. Like, what?
Do you think that anybody got that and was like,
What?
oh,
That was obviously
At
their,
least a few.
their obvious hope was that everyone would be distracted by a cute dog to be like, but there's a cute dog. I'm not going to unsubscribe. I don't want to put Chloe out of a job.
was it an animated
Wow.
dog or was it a real?
It was like a, you know,
I thought, okay, so behind the scenes,
Yikes.
look, there's different questions that we can talk about here. And this question says, do you think the director of marketing should step down? And I was
wonder
like,
if I still
some
have-
idiot wrote marketing instead of marketing on this paper.
I wonder if let me see if I still have the
Need
email
this
from
picture.
Chloe, the director of
Oh,
marketing.
Chloe.
How do you Google that? How do you even look in your thing? Chloe,
I just
Chloe
searched-
marketing?
I don't have a whole lot of emails that have the word marketing in them.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So
yeah.
if I
But
Imagine
honestly,
being in that room deciding that.
Yeah,
This
okay,
is our
here we go.
strategy.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to spy, but he did have a few marketings.
is
Maybe to go to the two shot.
this was Chloe,
There we go.
the director of marketing
Wow.
for MoviePass. And Chloe sent out an
It's a
email
black and white
from
image?
everyone. No, it's a black and white dog with a black and white scarf on.
We thought Chloe
Oh,
would
that's
be
a
a very
black and
good
white
dog.
image.
Woof, here's the email. Woof, I'm Chloe, the director of marketing at MoviePass. I'd like to explain why from time to time you may have had a rough experience with us. But it turns out that I'm a dog and I can't talk. What I do know is that I see these humans working like crazy to make MoviePass better and better for you as fast as possible. They're so grateful for your membership and support while they work it out. We're listening, we're learning, we're changing. So
It's really a passive aggressive email from a dog.
Yeah, Chloe is a bit of
Wow.
yeah.
Never mind.
I mean, I feel like there was so. Yeah, I get. I was just about to say there was so much more room for puns there. Like nothing about a paw or
Yeah, they just use the one rough and
Yeah,
then barketing. Obviously, is a
barketing.
big pun.
I don't know. I feel like if we're gonna do it, really,
for
man's
it.
best friend.
Yeah, jump in.
Like,
Yeah.
you really didn't. I mean, could have been.
Yeah.
It's a dog eat dog world.
I heard
I could
Chloe.
think of more.
I heard Chloe
I wanna
landed
watch you do
at Zappos, so that's still in the tech.
Still in the tech industry.
In that 30 seconds, I didn't think of any more. So we'll move forward to you guys at home for fan questions. This is when we get to see Spenny G. Fan questions. Why do you always leave me hanging on the fan questions? Why?
We used to not stop for it, and now we do stop for it.
But he doesn't even
it doesn't
care.
happen.
What happened? He's asleep eating Doritos?
Mm-hmm.
All right, fine. We'll just move forward. Literally no F's given on that one. All right, let's get to these fan questions, and I'll go cry in a closet later by myself. From Xander Krasny wants to know, oh boy.
Good name. Xander Krasny.
Well,
That is a really
it's a good
good
name, and it's an even better question. I'm a little nervous about it. He says, if Dan and Roxy are both on, which
Here we are.
we are, I want a movie recommendation that they both agree on.
Okay.
Okay.
Joe, I'm pretty sure you have a whole thing for us right
Put together
now.
a list of movies.
Wow.
Okay.
We're gonna. I just want to know if should go see it, shouldn't go see it.
Okay.
Should or shouldn't?
Okay. We're gonna
Okay.
find some that you guys agree on.
All right.
We're gonna start with some classics.
Oh no. Okay. I'm nervous.
Wizard of Oz.
Yes.
Go see it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes.
Jaws.
Oh, I mean,
Yes, go
100%.
see it. Okay.
West Side Story.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Are you talking about the reboot?
Classics were okay. Classics were okay
Okay.
so far. Pulp Fiction.
Yes.
Okay. Mary Poppins, the original.
Yes to the original.
Yeah. Yeah. You should see it once. I don't know if it's quite as. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Close enough. Okay.
God, we're doing
Here's some
good.
random franchises. Mission Impossible.
Yes.
Which one?
All.
The franchise.
On balance, yes.
Oh
Yes.
my god.
Okay, okay.
Oh my god.
James Bond.
No.
Yes. Definitely.
Okay.
Okay, good one.
Again, on balance,
We found one.
it's fit. We're getting closer to 50-50.
I've never
Okay.
done it,
Okay.
so.
Kingsman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. The Fast Chies.
No.
Yes.
Okay.
Good.
All right. Hereditary.
Hell
Yes.
yes.
Okay.
No.
All right. There we go.
There we go. Okay. Okay. The new Aladdin.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm not counting it.
That one hurt you.
I love it. I love
All right,
it so
all right.
much.
Some movies from this year. Spider-Man: Far From Home.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Shazam.
Yes.
Yes.
Booksmart.
Yes.
Yes.
Avengers: Endgame.
Yes.
Yes.
Dark Phoenix.
No.
Yes.
Hobbs and Shaw.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Strangely. Barely, but yes.
The long
it's an Aladdin yes. It's an Aladdin yes. To be fair, it's an
Okay,
Aladdin
okay.
yes.
Aladdin was like my favorite movie of the year, so we're doing well.
The Long Shot.
Yes.
Oh,
Or Long Shot.
oh
Charlize
yes.
Theron.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
okay,
I like
okay.
that movie. Yes.
The New Lion King.
No.
Yes.
No.
Godzilla: King of Monsters.
No.
I didn't.
Okay. Midsummer.
I didn't.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Well,
I would like to.
That's like
I'll
a
say
yes,
yes.
with an asterisk. Like I have to ask you like 10 follow-up questions.
Okay,
who
that's
you
fair.
are.
Yeah.
Ask her those now.
Okay.
Do you like horror movies?
Yes.
Do you like movies that are disturbing?
Yes.
Are you disturbed by graphic imagery like gore?
No.
Do you like psychological horror?
Yes.
Do you like abstract movies?
Yes. That's an Aladdin. Yes.
How much did you like Hereditary?
A lot.
Then yes, you should go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Midsummer.
You know what? I'm going to end on the big moment. There's a couple more movies, but then what if we don't end
Yeah.
that well?
That's
I think, okay,
we these were some really good ones.
I think we
guys.
killed the myth a little bit.
Well, I feel like it's the Phantom threads of the world.
It's the things that are so divergent.
Yeah,
Yes.
like the ones that. But that was good. I've never felt closer to you, Dan.
See, we do agree.
And that's actually not true. We agree on
Love
that.
it when
We're
my
very far
adopted
apart.
kids all get together, just rough it up in the
We're
yard.
the Starr clan.
Yeah. Proud of you kids.
I don't know what that means. All right, let's go to another question from Emily Lyon. Thank you, Emily, for asking this because I cannot wait to talk about The Boys. She wants to know, did you watch The Boys? What did you think of it? I think Roxy said she liked it. You thought right, Emily, who I now call Eon, but is actually named Lon, I think, did not, based on his Twitter. Anyone else want to share if you can? So let's talk a little bit about The Boys.
Okay, you and I have seen it.
Yes.
So, Joe,
Yes.
thoughts?
First of all, we have to throw full disclosure. They are a sponsor of Honest Trailers. They continue to be a sponsor of Honest Trailers. So, fully disclosed.
So when this said full disclosure, I thought that was a dear Roxy, full disclosure, so you know. You went full disclosure to the people.
So you
Oh, yeah,
know.
yeah.
Full
Yeah, we're
disclosure
not
to
going to
them.
do a...
Okay,
But
Yeah.
this is not.
This is not sponsored by The Boys.
Sponsor paid.
Yes.
But
No.
just want to put it out there.
truthfully, for me, it really wouldn't make a difference because I love this series. So I'm glad to say that because that's awesome that they're sponsoring Honest Trailers. But regardless of that, I really, really love this series. I did not read The Boys. I don't know if you did,
I did
Joe.
not.
Okay, so I didn't read it. So going in, I had no idea. Are you guys familiar with the story at all?
I know the basic premise.
The plot.
I knew really seriously nothing except for the trailer. And I was shocked at how 2019 relevant this comic book show was. Because we're dealing with all kind of stuff that we're dealing with in Hollywood and on the planet, I guess, as we are in this show. And I'm very used to Flash and Friends type shows, so we're not dealing with those things. And this is like, comes at you so hard, so fast with, holy crap, people of all different types are pieces of crap. And I just think it did an excellent job. We talked about planes here on today's show for some reason earlier, crashing and burning. There's a major plane thing that happens here that I think is one of the best scenes I've seen on TV in a really long time.
really intensely shot.
Really, really crazy. So I loved it. Joe,
Yeah.
what did you think?
I've seen a lot of people who are like, I think it should have gone deeper, and it. But I don't know if I agree necessarily. I purely thought it was just fun, with a lot of really cool ideas, a lot of cool, really relevant ideas. And I think one of I don't want to speak for him, but I think one of Lon's big criticisms was like they just sort of played at sort of the shallow end of that pool a little bit, and could have gone a lot deeper. I think that's okay. I think it's okay to sort of just mess around with some ideas if at least it like sparks an audience's interest in them. Maybe you don't have to quite do a huge deep dive. One thing Lon and I did agree on, I think Carl Urban might be one of the most underrated actors.
He's really
Carl
good.
Urban's really good.
He's excellent.
So good in this.
His accent is fine. His performance is excellent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, because he's literally, if you've seen a trailer and you're like, Carl Urban sure does have a lot of action star one-liners in this show. You're right. And that's all he has. Like that, he communicates purely in.
Zing.
It's like a Whose Line Is It Anyway game, where like that's the character you drew out of a hat is only talks in like one-liners. That's
a
all
good
he
gig.
does. Right?
Yeah.
And he kills it. He somehow makes a three-dimensional character after a guy who is literally just saying like, I'll be back.
Like straight from the comic books.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I hear,
yeah.
even though I haven't read them.
Yeah, he's just totally CSI, like, here's my line, yeah! And glasses, like, that's everything he says, and somehow
What does that sound?
Yeah! That one.
Can't top that.
Dude that plays Homelander is fantastic.
Excellent. And Dennis Quaid's son, Jack, is really great as Louis.
Yeah.
Huey.
Yeah.
Hugh.
Dewey. One of the McDuck lads.
Yeah. Good rhyming game, guys.
Yeah, no, I think it's super fun, and I think it hits when it needs to, but I think sort of wisely balances sort of the sort of screwed up topics it's trying to explore with some levity, so that you're not just like overwhelmed by like, man, everything's
it's tough.
pretty bleak.
Yeah. To Steph and Dan, is there a reason other than time that you guys haven't had enough time that you haven't watched the show? Or is it just because you haven't figured out when?
That's the exact reason.
Okay.
There's just time. There's
Yeah.
lots of competition for my viewing hours, unfortunately, and yeah, I'm intrigued by it. I just haven't had a chance to watch it.
I agree. I'm still trying to catch up on Euphoria, and then that will be my next line of business.
It is a.
That's next on our list: Euphoria and The Succession.
I haven't seen Succession yet either. Euphoria is amazing. It's 8 episodes, and I will say that they are an hour, so it is a whole couple of days that you've got to commit to it. But if you're watching 2 a night, then you can do this pretty quickly. I think it's worth it because one of the reasons I found people aren't watching it is the thing that we talk about all the time here, superhero fatigue. And this show, to me, is incredibly different than the other superhero shows we've seen so far. I think that even if Lon and kind of Yuja wanted it to go further, at least it went somewhere.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
At least it took that shot, and we're dealing with a lot of crazy issues from things that we see on Stranger Things to how people are brought up and how that really affects them, kind of like in a vein of an 11 situation, to more Me Too things, to, I mean,
It's like the
weird
military-industrial complex really hard.
Exactly. To how men in power operate, how women in power operate, how people in power operate. Then we've got the stuff going on with the deep, the weirdness with who we choose to hook up with when we're part man, part
fish.
fish,
Man. Yeah.
which I wish I didn't see necessarily. But I think it's really good and worth your guys' time if you can make time for it. But I'm curious what you guys think at home, because I've heard both sides, yours and Lon's.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. I think, and to go the other way, I think the other criticism I've seen a lot where people dismiss it as like, oh, what if superheroes were bad? That's new. And it's not quite that. Like, there's a little bit of that.
But that also is new.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah. I think to a lot of viewers it is. But to dismiss it simply as like, oh man, like someone tried to redo Watchmen or something like that is
Right, but
not
it's not
really accurate.
It's not what if superheroes are bad like Brightburn. It's what if superheroes are pretending to be superheroes and they really are horrible at the core.
Yeah, do the people that supposedly have our best interests in mind actually have our best interests in mind?
So definitely worth a watch. Let's get to one more fan question from, Elvin Prince. We found out I can't read. Elvin Prince 66.
We know it's you, Legolas. Just
Yeah, come on, man.
The timing on that was really good. Dan. In honor of the 40th anniversary of the Muppet movie, what are your favorite Muppet songs and who are your favorite Muppets? This is Muppet Talk here on SJU. Dan, Muppets. Any favorite? You were hoping I wouldn't come to you first?
I mean, Rainbow Connection is obviously the go-to, and then any number of Sesame Street songs if we're extending to Sesame Street. But I would like to focus on favorite Muppets because there's so many. And I enjoy the main characters, but I'm a deep cut guy. I enjoy the Swedish Chef.
Yeah.
Partially, it's the human hands.
Yep.
Way along the. I just think it's funny. I'm sorry to our Swedish viewers. I'm sure you probably hate the Swedish chef.
No, I think a lot of people love Swedish Chef.
I believe
A
I
lot.
drunkenly proclaimed him a hack once in a drunken movie fight. That's just the nature of the game. Sharing my
win.
life with a scientist, as I do. Obviously, we are both fans of Beaker and Dr. Bunsen Honeydew. Again, I like the comedy. I like Fozzie Bear. I love Fozzie Bear. Fozzie is so
amazing.
great. I just the heart and the genuine, like, try hard nature of Fozzie. And you love him and you feel bad for him in equal measures. I think that Sam Eagle is a funny character.
You can't just name all the characters.
Okay,
Dan.
fine. Then those characters. Those are my
8 characters. Steph, favorite character.
Singular Miss Piggy, just because she's like the diva. She knows what she wants. She deserves what she wants, and she gets what she wants, and I loved seeing that.
Yeah, she's got that attitude.
Yeah.
Favorite song?
Stylish. Favorite song, Moving Right Along.
That's a
Kermit
good
and
song.
Fozzie. I feel like it's relatable to us. When I was younger and my screen name was Star Actress 007 and I saw this movie, I was like, I'm going Hollywood. But now I'm not an actress, never will be, but
It's a great screen name.
yeah, it was really
Take a minute to
embarrassing. It took me a
acknowledge.
while to come to terms with it, but my second one
there.
was good.
What was it?
Poo on You 332.
Much better.
Stand
Yeah,
by
it's
that
solid.
one
better.
Yeah,
for
it's good.
life.
No.
Is that
I
better?
kept that through like until AIM died.
Who on
I-
you?
332.
332.
I was like, I'm
a good
sassy.
rhyme.
Don't bother me.
I have 187 in all my handles because of AIM. Because I picked a different name and they were like, "That's taken. How about one of these combinations?" And it said J Star 187. And I was like,
187.
That's a
and I was
cop
like,
thing, isn't it?
Yeah, for
187 on a
yeah. And so I
cop.
was like, dope. And I've had it ever since.
187's better than 007.
I don't know about that.
I don't
Joe,
know.
it's Muppets.
007's committed some 187s.
But
Hey.
We are in the same
187.
family then.
what about Seventh Heaven? Am I right?
Yes.
Am I right, people? Am
How
I
has there
right?
not been an album called 187th Heaven?
I don't know.
That's my reboot of that show.
187th Heaven.
Guys, I just wanted to participate in the 7 conversation. 7
there.
minutes in heaven. Am I
18
right?
187 minutes in heaven.
Joe, help me. What is your favorite Muppet?
I'm gonna go Dr. Teeth. I like the whole Electric Mayhem, but Teeth has the most the voice I think of when I think of Jim Henson, like that sort of
Rolfie type voice.
yeah, that Rolfie type voice. But
Let's hear
Dr.
it.
Teeth leans more like wise hippie. And that same character like would show up in Fraggle Rock a lot and stuff like that. I can't remember the character's name in Fraggle Rock, but he was like this like basically this like traveling musician that was super wise that would teach lessons and stuff. And so that's the voice I always associate the most with Henson. And I can't do it. I'm very horrible at impressions.
That's not true.
No. I
Who wants to hear
am
him
not the
try
Dan
it?
at the table.
Try it. Okay, you don't have to. Oh, I can hear it coming. All right. I'm with you on
And
this.
Love Is Gone on songs. From Muppet Christmas Carol.
Good one. I'm with Steph on Miss Piggy. Even though she's so annoying, I still root for her. And, you know, as far as rooting for women go in Muppet world, it's slim pickings. So,
This is true.
yeah.
Miss Piggy.
Yeah.
What's
keep
the chicken's
trying.
name?
Camilla.
It was like a desperate
Yeah.
need for
Yeah.
a woman.
And really, Camilla is just there to fulfill Gonzo's romantic desires.
And
It really
that's,
doesn't
like,
have any
not
arcs for
cool.
herself.
No. And the song that we would listen to on my way to school and that we'd play in my house was Not Easy Being Green. I love that song. It's weird because it's not relatable in the sense that, spoiler alert, I'm not green, but it has so many other messages. And I don't know, there's something about it. It's kind of a tearjerker for me.
I see like someone holding up right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I love that song. 'Cause a lot of the Muppet songs, I won't lie to you guys, sound very similar to me. Yeah, a
You
lot
have
of them
Muppet deafness?
Well, do you guys not feel that? Like a lot of the songs are very.
I feel that.
No, I'm about to do a full turn on you right now.
Oh.
I like the
Joe's about to
Muppets.
flip
Like,
this
how
table.
dare you?
No, I love the Muppets. Just a lot of the songs are. very similar to one another. All right, that's it for our Fan Friday. For more Muppet stuff so that Joe's poor little Muppet heart doesn't break. We actually made a visit to talk to some people from the new Muppet Babies cartoon, which is great. We asked them who their favorite Muppets were. Maybe they have some different ones than us, maybe some the same. And we got into the process of making animation for TV, which is always really interesting. Season 2 of Muppet Babies premiered earlier today. Wow, so very good timing on that question, Elvin Prince or Legolas. Yeah, we all know who you are. New episodes air Friday mornings, which is always when we're here. So you guys can watch that and then come check us out. That's on Disney Channel and the Disney Now app. In case you guys have that app, watch it with your kids or watch it because Muppets and because it will make Joe really happy. So make sure that you guys stay here right now so that you can check that out. Before we get to that, just a couple sign outs. Steph, where can everybody find you?
At Steph Sabraw.
Joe?
Just hereish.
You guys always say that. You have a life, you know.
At Starr.
We already talked about 187. Yeah. Dan,
187.
working on anything right now? All the things.
Yeah, lots of Honest Trailer related stuff and fun fandom stuff and Screen Junkie stuff and a couple personal projects.
Wow, a group of the best sign-offs of all time.
At Murrell Dan on Twitter.
There we go. And I'm at Roxy Striar. Stay tuned right now so you can check out this interview.
Hi-ho, Muppet fans! Kermit the Frog here, and I hope you're enjoying the show. Yay! What drew me into revamping Muppet Babies was that I grew up on it. I grew up with Muppets and Muppet Babies and Muppet Show and Muppet everything. I was working at Disney Interactive when Muppet Studio showed up, and they were our next door neighbor.
And so, of course, we've got our noses pressed up against the glass as they're moving all the Muppet stuff in.
And they're like, hey, we're doing some new shows and we're doing some stuff. And I was like, what's going on with Muppet Babies? And they said, nothing. Do you want to do something with it? And I was like, sure.
When I was initially told that they were rebooting Muppet Babies, I was so excited. I mean, for me, it was a no-brainer. That was a job that I wanted.
This gig was like, oh my gosh, it's my favorite show as a kid. And they're like, hey, do you want to come work on it? And I just, so like 12-year-old me freaked out. And I was like, yeah, totally. Like I was so nervous for the job interview.
The show in the 80s was such a popular show. And a lot of people have come up with ideas on how to do it, but we thought to actually take the characters and make them look like real Muppets that you felt like you could reach into the TV and touch.
The characters that Jim Henson created are just so special. It's incredibly rare in children's television to find characters that are this sweet and like fully realized. I ask everybody who their favorite Muppet is and why. I think it says so much about a person. Kermit was probably my first crush.
I always related to Kermit also because he's a creative person, he's a creative soul, and the idea of having dreams and being able to make those things reality.
What connects me to Kermit is that he's just so honest, and he just seems so real. And when I was a kid, he would break the fourth wall and talk to the screen and talk to me.
And then also Gonzo because he's weird.
For me, it's a tie between Kermit and Gonzo because I feel like Gonzo embraces his weirdness. He's definitely the most fun character to write for.
Yeah, it has to be Gonzo because he's just so weird and he's okay with being weird.
The short version of creating an animated show.
Every Muppet Baby script needs 3 components. Character driven. Does it have heart? And then thirdly, all of our stories have imagination. So any place that we can dream up within certain parameters.
Then the story has to be designed. Everything that like a character picks up, be it a pencil sharpener. If they go to France, someone has to design what France looks like.
I feel like a lot of what we do on this end, pre-production, is we're problem solving, providing reference for materials, and Muppet Studio has been really awesome about that. They provide us a lot of cool materials, like actually seeing what Fozzie's bow tie fabric looks like, what the insides of their mouths look like, if they've got anything on the underside of their hands.
Then it has to be storyboarded. We take that story and those designs and decide how our shots are going to look, how action sequences are going to play out. Then we go into animatic.
An animatic basically is an animated storyboard. So it's kind of like the storyboard, just we're adding music, dialogue, sound effects, and timing. So when you hand this to the animator, this gives them like a place to start. They're like, oh, okay, this is a 2-shot from this angle. All right, we need them to be really happy here. So it's really just kind of the blueprint for the episode.
Then we record all our voices, with our cast.
One of the hardest things is being the exec producer and an actor, because I do have to split that brain up. And thankfully, I have Tom. When I'm in actor mode, he directs me. Because if I was trying to direct myself in the booth, I'd be going, how does that sound good? Let me do it again.
The thing we tried to do with the characters was sort of try to strike a balance between what they looked like in the old show and what their adult counterpart is.
To achieve the look of Kermit's tennis ball fuzz on his head and the fuzz on Fozzie's ears, this was something that was only really available to feature film animation for the longest time.
Because that was a big part of doing the show in CG, was to try and make the characters feel as much like the adult Muppets as possible, so that Kermit looks like he's got felt like adult Kermit does, so that Fozzie's super fuzzy and huggable.
Well, this is a little look under the hood at what we call Jiggle Tech, which is basically it's a physics simulation that we've applied to every part of the puppet. So this is before we've added any fur or lighting or anything. This is just to see how the shapes move. So this is him drumming, and if you notice how his hair is all flopping around, that is Jiggle Tech. So basically we adjusted it, and then we added our fur texture to it. So, because fur simulation is very complex and very featurey, so what we did is we created clumps of fur that we could then add the physics engine to. So now you'll see it again, final, woo, and see how his hair all flows and moves. So the real puppets, they can move their heads, they can open their mouths. Our puppets can do this. We can grow things, they can stretch, they can move. But anyway, yeah, that's kind of Jiggle Tech in its bare form, but that's bare form.
And I feel like at every stage of this production, everybody just adds a little bit to it, and they just make it like a little bit better. So by the time you get to the end of it, you get this show where you're like, this is a really good episode of TV.
Jim Henson really wanted to make the world a better place. That was always sort of at the heart of what he was doing. And we, try our best to uphold that legacy.
I think with the Muppets, there's sort of an innocence to them,
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's something that appeals to the child in everybody, Because I think everybody, there's a child in all of us still.